Hi everybody, Pierre here with Knockwise, and I'm so pleased to bring you a panel of real estate agents that have been using the Knockwise app, and they're going to share their experiences with how they've used the app and what it's doing for their business. And it may imply, some increases or some efficiency standards that you might want to apply to your own business. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Conrad here. And we had discussed a couple of different things about how the app has actually helped you with your volume and what you've been able to do with it. If you could share some of your experiences for our audience, I'd really appreciate that.
Well, with the app, it's really helped out as far as the ability to talk to people and gain that, grow that relationship with the individual homeowner. And so what that's done for me and my dad and mom who work with us together. My dad's been knocking on doors for over 30 years.
Wow.
What it has done now is that we have, moving forward, about 21 delayed listings that could pop anytime soon.
That's amazing. So what you're telling me is your dad's brand new in the business, never knocked before, right? and so when you see this type of technology and you see you don't see the instantaneous results, right? So you've got some listings that are going to hit maybe in next month or whatnot. So how would you summarize how this app has made you efficient, and what portion of that business do you think you might have not had if you didn't have Knockwise?
Well, we can tell. He's a little bit more old school and more old-fashioned with the app. Now he's on one side of the street, I'm on the other side of the street, and I'm moving a little bit much faster because I have that knowledge about the individual homeowners and the information and when they're home, and I'm kind of moving way faster than him because he's writing it down, and starting that conversation.
So it's just made you a lot more efficient, and then the follow-up process giving you the opportunities for potentially 20 more listings next year?
Yep.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. What I'd like to get over to now is Mark, and Mark had a little bit of a different experience with the app. Now, Mark, you were talking about how the data and the efficiency of the app was helping you so that you identified who you were going to be speaking to and when. Can you enlighten us a little bit about that and how you use this product?
Absolutely. Getting your hands around the data is critical. Knowing who you've talked to, when you talk to them, who you don't need to talk to again, makes the door knocking experience a lot more positive.
So you've done the same thing that I've done in the past, where you knock on the door and they say, "Yeah, Pierre, you were here 2 months ago. I told you my wife's a real estate agent." Guess we don't have to do that anymore, right?
Right.
Because you know exactly what you've said and when you've said it.
Right.
I want to ask you, because Mark, you've been with us for quite a while, right? And you've knocked on a bunch of doors, and I'd like to know, based on what you were doing when you were prospecting before, if you could summarize prospecting versus not prospecting, or door knocking versus not door knocking, how would you categorize that, you think?
Well, I would say if you're not using Knockwise, you're waiting for laydowns. You're thinking, I'm going to run into somebody that's going to invite me in the house and say, "Would you list my home for me?" That might happen 1 out of 1,000 times, but this gives you the ability to follow up with these people and keep track of them.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, I'd like to introduce you to Aaron. Now, Aaron not only is an advocate of door knocking, also teaches door knocking and door knocking techniques to other agents in his office, and takes that role very seriously. And I've had the privilege of attending one of his classes and giving my 2 cents. And so what I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, Aaron, is how the app has helped you with your efficiency. What have you done there, and why is it so important to you now to have an app like Knockwise?
It's a great question. So since I've started using Knockwise, since the latest edition is rolled out, I've found about between 15 and 20% increase in contacts met. So that's getting contact information from people. And not only that, I know who I've met. I have those contacts in the app. So when I walk up to their house again, I remember I've already met them. I have their information, and it's a slightly different conversation I can have with them. That's one of the things that's been great about the app is when I walk up to the door, I can anticipate the type of conversation I'm likely to have with them. If they're new owners, lived there for a long time, if I've been at their door 4 or 5 times, or if this is only the second time I've been at their door.
And Aaron makes a great point here, guys. A lot of what we do as salespeople or as real estate professionals, especially when we're doing something as uncomfortable as knocking on doors or cold calling, is having that level of confidence when you're at the door. And when you know what you've said and when you've said it, how easy is that second conversation for you?
Oh, absolutely. It allows it to really be a conversation that you continue over time, because you have the notes of what you spoke about last time. It's all right there.
So it's more than just getting that listing. It's possibly building a relationship for other listings. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Aaron, thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate that. All right, guys, we're going to turn our focus over to Ruth now. Ruth has been knocking for well over a decade, on and off, probably for 25 years. To be 100% truthful with you guys, I probably learned more from Ruth and her techniques than I could ever share in just one segment with you guys. But Ruth, you've been using our app since day one, from a beta tester to what it is today.
That's correct.
And I remember we had a couple of different conversations of how you used to kind of randomly door knock compared to really hyper-focused door knocking. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Correct. Now I can choose my farm before I go out there, and I know the names of the person that lives there ahead of time and when they bought it, and I'm not just a realtor. I started offering loans too. So if they're not ready to sell because they just bought, I ask them, what kind of interest rate do you have? Do you have the lowest interest rate? Because what I want to do is I want to get that relationship going so that I'm the go-to person. And before, I used to have a clipboard and I try to take notes, and those notes would get lost, and then I forgot who I talked to. Now I know which ones I'm going to stay out of and which ones are realtors, so I don't want to leave them my flyer or give them any more ideas.
That's fantastic.
So the app has really helped me a lot.
So besides
Be
real
organized.
estate, this has opened up a whole nother avenue of opportunity for you
Yes.
through loans.
Yes.
That's amazing. Listen, guys, I just want to share something with you guys, and tell me if I'm alone here, right? But this is how, you touched on something about going out with your clipboard, right? And I remember going out with my clipboard and my comfortable shoes, and I used to make notes inside of my farm packet, and I used to make notes on the back of a flyer that I'd give to another homeowner by mistake,
Yep,
right?
I would do
And
that.
then trying to remember where I'd been or what I'd done was probably the most disgusting part of door knocking,
Yes.
to use a bad word, right? It just drove me down to the point where I didn't really want to do anything, right? And then when we'd get lucky and run into someone with no particular system, we thought how great we really were, when we really weren't, according to your point, right? We just ran into a deal. We didn't systematically go out and grow that deal, right? But what Conrad was doing, putting in all the work for the past 12 months to accumulate to possibly 20 listings. Guys, if that's not the definition of follow process and don't focus on results, I don't know what is, right? So if we're looking at that and we understand that if the process is real, the results take care of themselves. Guys, let me tell you, thank you so much for sharing your stories. I hope what we're sharing with you guys today helps you enough to want to get out there and understand that there's plenty of opportunities out there for you. You just get out there and take your unfair share.